All right, guys, and what is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you again. Forget about the sharing thing, but I will share it right now quickly, as I'll introduce you guys and welcome you guys as I review this week's episode of NXT UK, and that made me get through that much more smoother. But yeah, so we're here live, of course, as always, guys. I'm here to review my live review of this week's episode of WWE NXT UK that took place, of course, well, the tapings were last month, of course, for this month. That took place once again at the Coventry Skydome in Coventry, England. We had a pretty good show this week. I mean, I said the past couple weeks, UK's been decent, but with there not being really much of a pay-per-view upcoming yet, a lot of these matches stuff like they're kind of like maybe like exhibition matches or something like that. But this might be a way, accept that, hey, maybe these guys just aren't going to get too many, takeover opportunities and try to, treat these shows more like, it's the best it's going to be. And I'm not saying it's terrible, but it's like, maybe I shouldn't raise the bar too high. Like, I'm not going to expect some type of big, like, WrestleMania caliber pay-per-view or anything for TakeOver UK. I mean, hopefully they will do, for the UK brand. Hopefully they do get another takeover, because I thought that the first takeover they had back in January was pretty darn good. So I'm still rooting for another takeover, hopefully for NXT UK. But I gotta say, this is one of my more favorite episodes in a while. There was some storytelling and there was a lot more character development that intrigued me a little more than more recently. Like I kind of for a while, the wheels were turning when I'm thinking outside the box when I came for NXT UK. Then it always kind of slowed down just a little bit, but now it's starting to roll again, I feel. So I'm interested to see definitely where it goes here. Especially also, I'm very excited for, of course, the one match that will be taking place at the next NXT TakeOver New York, which is next Friday, of course. Once again, guys, next Friday, around this time, actually, yeah, 11 o'clock it is right now here in Pittsburgh. Next Friday at this time, I'll be on my way to New York City. I'll be leaving on the mega bus, and we're traveling to New York overnight. And I cannot wait for WrestleMania! But anyways, let's get right into this show and talk about it again. This is a pretty good show. I like the show. So the first match we had was a match. It was Jordan Devlin taking on Dan Maloney. Just a kind of quick little squash match, I say it was, for Jordan Devlin. It's the first time he's really done anything since he ended his feud with Travis Banks, beating him in a Falls Count Anywhere match. And he beats Dan Maloney, just gives him some momentum going forward. So, again, we'll see what's next for Jordan Devlin. But that's probably the lowest point of the show, I say, was this. But it was what it was, basically. After this, we have Cassius Ohno come out. And he's addressing his actions from last week. He said that NXT UK management told him to come out and explain his actions. He wanted to make sure he didn't come off phony and stage. So he read a totally phony apology off his smartphone. He shouldn't have revived Amir Jordan just to knock him out again. But I'm sorry, Ashton Smith. It says Amir Jordan, but he should not have revived Ashton Smith just to knock him out again. But it felt just so good to do so. He could have gone anywhere, but he chose to come to NXT UK. Some kid, though, came out after his match, which is a guy from New Zealand, a mimicking wrestler named Travis Banks. He has his eyes set on the prize, and if the Kiwi Buzzsaw ever found himself opposite of Ohno in the ring, he would be a broken little buzzsaw. So, I don't know. I mean, this promo was good, but again, Ohno has already kind of established his character on NXT, unless, again, you're not really following NXT at all, and this is him just introduced to the UK crowd. Like, cool, I get it, but someone like me, I was just like, okay, yeah, Cassius, I know where you're going with this. This is the kind of same thing you do in NXT before you came over, so couldn't quite fool me, but again, if it's for the UK crowd, I found it acceptable. So we got that. We also have a video of Dave Mastiff, who we have not seen him. Last week, we saw Eddie Dennis for the first time since TakeOver Blackpool when he lost to Dave Mastiff. That's the first time we see Dave Mastiff in quite some time also, too. So Mastiff is a video package of him in the gym talking about growing up, and he had to prove himself and never shows weakness. That's why he still does this to this day. So obviously Dave Mastiff getting a little more hype again. We also have an announcement that in 2 weeks, Toni Storm will defend her NXT UK Women's Championship against the fashionista Ginny in 2 weeks. We see a video package of Ginny at the WWE Tryout Center in India. She said WWE chose her and not Storm to attend the trials because Ginny was a better wrestler and people needed a hero, which was her, not Toni Storm. Just, of course, hype up, again, their match in 2 weeks. Like he's saying, I feel like, Ginny would be a prime candidate to be someone to eventually dethrone Toni Storm. But with some of these newcomers coming in, well, Kaylee Ray last week, and no spoilers yet about what else, but I'm not sure, I guess Ginny may not be the one who's going to eventually be the one to dethrone Toni Storm. So there could be 2 other possibilities, especially, of course, after who else showed up here on NXT UK. But we'll see what happens with that match, too. It should be a good match. Her and Toni and Ginny had a good match in the semifinals of the UK Women's Championship tournament back in October. So I definitely look forward to see what they can do with this match for sure in 2 weeks. Then we had a match. It was Rhea Ripley taking on Xia Brookside. Of course, Xia Brookside called out Rhea Ripley being more so of a bully a couple weeks ago, and which is kind of true. So this is kind of just to give Rhea Ripley something to do, but set her up for probably a bigger feud after this that I'm actually quite excited for. The match between Xia and Ripley I thought was pretty good. It kind of gave, Xia Brookside an opportunity to kind of I feel like we're one of the first times that Xia really got an opportunity to a little more serious competition, and it kind of gave her a little bit more momentum going forward despite being in the loss. There was a couple times where I thought that Xia did have Rhea, though, such as towards the edge. She got hit a modified, stun with the double knees because Rhea sold it pretty good. There were several times where it looked like she was gaining the upper hand on Rhea, and it looked like she might have had a chance to win. But then Rhea though got back up and eventually was able to pick up Xia Brookside here with the Riptide for the victory. But again, this is a pretty good match. I really enjoyed. I think this match is kind of meant to of course give Rhea victories, as she has suffered a couple of losses in a row with her UK Women's Championship being dropped in Toni Storm. Obviously just gonna remember, but definitely gave Xia a good rub also with this match. Also, I thought it was definitely a pretty good match. Probably the best we've seen Xia, because of course I've seen Xia a couple low caliber matches recently. Not that they were terrible, but they weren't the big. They were more so just exhibition matches rather than a match. I felt like it was actually taking her somewhere. The only other match was before UK I seen her wrestle. It was the first round of the Mae Young Classic this past year when she lost to Io Shirai in the final first round match. But afterwards, Rhea gets on the microphone and asks Xia Brookside if she was serious. She showed her what her nightmare really was. She was the most dominant woman in NXT UK. And then music hits, and I'm like, surprise debut or someone here? And out comes, I believe, her she's formerly known as Viper, I believe, on another circuit or something like that. But Piper Niven, who was in the first Mae Young Classic, appeared in NXT UK, and she's definitely I'm not gonna say she's fat, but she's definitely more bigger built women. I mean, she's not tall like Nia Jax, but she definitely is a little bit heavier looking. But I was very impressed with her in the Mae Young Classic. So she just comes out and Rhea just basically just tries, gets a look on her face, just walks out of the ring, and Piper enters and looks at Ripley and says, "The most dominant woman NXT UK? Not anymore." So I guess we're going to be getting a match or some type of feud with Rhea Ripley and Piper Niven. So works for me. I mean, I definitely, again, Rhea Ripley's definitely, become one of the biggest rising stars for sure in the WWE. I definitely think she will be a women's champion, on the main roster someday. I think she will do some great things with it. Hopefully they don't, overbook her or whatever, but she's on a roll right now. But Piper Niven, I'm definitely, excited to see what she can do in NXT as well. Backstage, we see Isla Dawn, a fellow Scottish woman also, with Piper Niven, watching on the TV backstage, and she just asked what she thinks of Piper. Dawn was quickly interrupted, though, because she kind of put over that, it's good to have someone else from Scotland here. But then here comes another newcomer, Kaylee Ray, who told her that them all being from Scotland doesn't mean that they're friends. But then Kaylee tells Isla that she might be next, which then it was advertised that next week we were going to begin a match with Kaylee Ray and Isla Dawn, which could be interesting. Now we see a special look at Walter from his matches in Progress WXW and his first few matches in NXT UK. We see people such as, Aleister Black, Dave Mastiff, Drake Wirtz, Robbie Brookside, even like Jack Stars, the person who was in Walter's first match in NXT UK, kind of just really put him over and just hype him up big time. We didn't see a backstage interview with Trent Seven when he's interviewed asking about the recent comments made by Joe Coffey, because Coffey referred to Trent Seven as dead weight. He says that the Seven Nation Army is behind him, and he's looking forward to shutting Coffey up, basically. So next week, and we probably our main event, we will be seeing Joe Coffey and Trent Seven go at it, which should be a good match. And then we also get a backstage interview with again, probably my favorite upcoming tag team for sure, Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner, the European Union, saying that there was nothing funny about the wrestling business and that it meant a lot more to them than to any of the fans. They proclaimed that they would go through Amir Jordan and Kenny Williams if that's what it takes to get ahead. And then they said they also claimed that the mat is sacred, which is probably a new catchphrase that they're probably going to use, which I like it. It's different for European. Again, these guys are great in the ring, not bad on a microphone. Again, they're definitely, like I said, one of my favorite upcoming tag teams for sure. So look forward to seeing what they're bringing to the table next. It looks like they're going to have a feud with them. And then the team of Amir Jordan, Kenny Williams, who I feel might be the ones right now maybe making, besides, of course, maybe, Mustache Mountain, might be the next babyface team, though. Amir Jordan, Kenny Williams will be the next ones that really challenge for the NXT UK tag titles against the grizzled young veterans, James Drake and Liverpool's number one, Zach Gibson, as they say. But, but then things got a little sticky, though. This, oh boy, was a great match, but a bad ending. And I don't mean bad as in, the wrestling was bad, but just we got next, which we don't see too often. It's like, oh no, especially for one of these guys who just returned last summer from a similar injury, but we'll see, of course, how it goes with it. I haven't really heard anything new, but so it's Mark Andrews and Noam Dar. To their credit, I gotta say this was a really, really, really good match. Two, smaller guys, kind of more of like, underdog characters, just going at it. Definitely one of the best matches I have seen from these two, in general, throughout their entire careers, I've seen so far in WWE. A lot of hard hitting, a lot of high fly, a lot of risk being taken. It's just, again, Noam Dar, who returned to NXT UK recently, and rumors have apparently he has moved back to Europe, so that way he can stay in NXT UK full time. So it sounds like he definitely is off of 205 Live. Like he's not really going to be, he's not working with 205 Live right now. Maybe a case for a while now, who knows? But him and Mark just really has made this an all-out fight. They went outside the ring. They slammed each other into, steel steps. It was just a very great, hard-hitting, fast-paced moving match that I definitely feel was one of their best. And especially with what happened at the end of the match, how the crowd, gave them the respect the crowd gave them. This is definitely, what felt like a career moment for both of these guys. So what exactly am I referring to? So towards the end of this match, there's one point in the match where Mark Andrews hit his knee off the steel steps, and it looked like it was kayfabe. He was selling it. That actually, of course, I did a little research afterwards. That actually was not the reason why Mark Andrews was basically taken out on a stretcher also after this. But then came a spot where Andrews was going for a reverse hurricanrana, and I could see the replay definitely. Again, Noam Dar was gone for 7 months with a torn meniscus in his left knee. And And of course, I know because I suffered a minor injury a couple years ago. Here and there, something happens and you feel it's a little sensitive. Not that I've ever heard it again, but you feel something like moving there like once in the blue moon, and it gets you worried. But it's just knock on wood, hasn't been that bad where it never happens. But obviously once you have a knee injury, your knee can be a little more sensitive. But basically, Andrews goes for a hurricanrana, and he kind of messed up with it. His head, like the side of his head, rams right into the back of Dar's knee. Dar's knee like buckled or something. And Dar went down holding his knee, and Andrews went down, obviously. That shot, his head hitting his knee, seemed to have given Andrews a concussion, it seems like. And the referee put up the X saying that neither of these guys are able to compete anymore. They were both taken out on a stretcher, but of course, the crowd. First off, what I like about this match, we hear for Noam Dar, they were kind of mocking his Scottish accent, going, "Awesome! This is awesome!" Like just like mocking his Scottish accent and whatnot. But of course, afterwards, the crowd gave both these guys standing ovation and the nice applause out of respect. They were both carried out in stretchers, and they both, well, first Noam just put up his pinky because that's his little thing, but they both put up thumbs up that they were both okay basically. But well, I mean that they're like fine and alert. But Mark Andrews, I'm sure he won't be out for too long. I don't think this was a big concussion, but it's still it was a little shady the way he hit. But I haven't heard any update yet. But Noam Dar and his knee injury. Not too sure. This is a shame because he's on NXT UK full time now. Man, obviously they might have had something for him to do since they turned him heel and whatnot, claiming that he's supposed to be better than everyone there. So prayers that these guys get better. But definitely, in my opinion, the match of the night. This was a really good match between these two, and I definitely was pretty impressed. So of course we got that there, and then finally. Our last segment of the week, we got the contract signing for the UK title match at TakeOver New York. So Johnny Saint sits Scala in the ring, and then they introduce Walter coming out wearing his black coat, shirt, and dress pants, and then out comes Pete Dunne. Now, here's the thing that cracks me up. I don't know if it was us just hearing things or whatnot, but as far as I know, I mean, from being a videographer and being in the career video production, I am not too sure, if maybe someone had like the microphones turned up a little too loud or something, or they could just really pick up, noise. But as far as I know, the only person I knew for sure because I saw their like arm on their sleeve. That was wearing a watch was Pete Dunne. Because most of the time when he was talking, you hear that you hear the ticking. And it was kind of annoying me. I was like, Pete, I don't know if it's what it is, but whoever it is, like, tune that microphone out a little bit. You can freaking hear his watch going off. But anyways, besides, of course, the annoying ticking. Dunne came out, and him and Walter stared each other down, of course. But then, of course, Sid Scala had repeatedly asked them both to take their seats. They did, but they still didn't take their eyes off each other. He called this the biggest match in NXT UK history, and one which the European wrestling scene had demanded, and how now it will take place over one of the biggest weekends in wrestling. He asked Walter if he had anything to say. Walter does not spoken yet since he debuted at NXT UK. Pushed the microphone on the table in front of him away. He signed the contract and he pushed it over to Pete Dunne. Dunne decided he was not going to stay silent as the ring general, and said, "You don't have anything to say anything. It's not just the WWE Universe who wanted this. I wanted this too. And at TakeOver New York, you're going to know what everyone else here has known for the past 647 days. I am the Bruiserweight, and NXT UK belongs to me. And the WWE United Kingdom Championship is and always will be mine." So then he signs it, And then he goes to walk away. All of a sudden, we hear, "Pizza!" And Walter speaks for the first time. And he says, something like, "Dang Zeit, it's Abgel phone." I'm not sure. I'm not sure again how to say this in German, but he basically says, "Peter, your time is up. Don't look at," then he says in English, "Don't look at me like that. You know exactly I could just reach over and put you through the table. Like I said, your time is up. And in New York City, the reign of the Bruiserweight will end because this title is mine." And the two of them just stare each other off as the show comes to an end. The contract is signed. The match is official. This may likely, and I'll of course say my predictions for next week, this could be the end again of the Bruiserweight's title reign. Wow. What a journey, though, it's been for Pete. For sure. Since TakeOver Chicago 1 back in May 21st, 2017, I believe it was. Yep. I believe that was the date. Ever since then, Pete Dunne has taken this UK division by storm. For the first time in nearly 2 years, we may be having a new United Kingdom champion on next Friday, guys. We'll have to wait and see, though. But, guys, that is it for this week's episode of NXT UK. I will be watching NXT next, of course, and then about an hour reviewing NXT. If I got to give this week so great, give it a B+. Good matches. Jordan Devlin's match was what it was, but, got him over. Cassius Ohno's promo, again, even though I feel like, he did, it's kind of repeating himself already from NXT, just to, get a feel of what the NXT UK crowd don't know about him yet. That's how it worked there for him. I like the match of Rhea Ripley and Xia Brookside. Noam Dar, Mark Andrews might, both getting injured. Had an excellent match. And then, of course, the contract signing was sick as well. And I can't wait to see Pete Dunne versus Walter for the NXT, just the WWE United Kingdom Championship next Friday. So, guys, B+ for NXT UK. What grade would you give NXT UK? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And be sure, as always, to click buy, like, and subscribe, or comment on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at TheManAir93. And, guys, I'll be back up here in just 1 hour to review this week's episode of NXT. So, until then, guys, I will see you all then, folks. So I can find the stop broadcast button. There we go. Take care, everybody.